So I do have a few more questions for you. Let's talk about what your personal projects are and that you've been working on. So obviously you have the New Guy Show.
Got my New Guy Show.
And so tell us how this came to be about.
Well, actually, it happened on that day, the day that I went over to record with Tom. He had his show, which is oh God, what's it? Buried Treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved doing Buried Treasure. He loved doing that show. He loved going in there and being a disc jockey and doing all that stuff.
Isn't that funny?
And he was recording a show. So after he finished that track, we went into his studio, and he was sitting there, and he was doing his show and recording his show and talking his stuff and doing all these little voice characters and stuff that he did. He's a very funny guy, and he sort of drew me into this conversation with him on air, and I started to talk to him. We started to go backwards and forwards, and after he finished the show, he said, you should do a show. And I said, what? He said, it's fun. He said, you should do it. He said, you don't have to play all Tom Petty songs. You can play whatever you want in there. He had that last DJ stuff. And he said, look, I set it up for you. And so he talked to Mark Falsop, and he said, give Steve a crack at doing a show. And so I went and sort of picked out like a bunch of songs, and I sent them to Mark, who's like a professional producer, a radio producer, knows his stuff with radio. And at first it's really difficult. I mean, you see actors do it in movies. Clint Eastwood, all these, anybody who plays any kind of a disc jockey, they're in there, and they make it look very easy. They, hey there, ladies and gentlemen, there. But when you're on your own in this room with this microphone, and you suddenly realize how badly you speak for a start. Of trying to put a sentence together to explain like you're talking to someone and nobody's there. There's lots of like fortunately I got an editor that can take all that stuff out. But it's really difficult to do, and it takes. So the first time was really sort of shaky, and the second, and it took quite a while for me to get used to it, and then of course with COVID, when it was the added thing that I had to press these buttons here and start this, set this thing up with my microphone, my trusty microphone, and to go from being okay, is this thing working? I got this everything. I got everything armed. It's going to go. Okay, press and start, and then turn around here and try to be Mr. DJ, and then sort of like have one eye over here. Did I press that right button? Is it recording well?
Searching for
There's so it was a little bit difficult to do, but I've got really well. That's not really good at it. I've got much better.
No, I would say you've gotten really good at it. I think you're a natural.
I enjoy it. I mean, I really like it. It's fun. I get to play friends of mine. I get my show's a little bit different from Benmont's in the fact that I have a lot of friends and I'm out about playing a lot, and people hire me to play stuff in here that from producers, young producers, and I get to I get to play stuff that I played on here, and I know some other guys that other producers that have produced stuff that I like what they done, and it would fit in the format, and so I get a chance to play a lot of new stuff and some really old. I sort of mix the really old stuff with the new stuff, and in between all that, the history of Tom Petty, and so
I would certainly say for anybody watching, if they haven't heard you on that Tom Petty radio, they ought to dial in. It's called The New Guy Show, and I think you're a natural. You do a great job.
He always funny. That was my. He's only been with us like 25 years. And new guy on drums, Steve Ferrone.
Is that so? That's where it came from. He'd call you the new guy.
He called me the new guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's only been from back when I was 20 years. It was always and he always make a mistake, something. He's only been with us for 21 years. That's 23, Tom.
Oh boy. All right.